Marcus Katkin back with another daily fantasy update. Not a whole lot of news around the NFL today, except for obviously the big Adrian Peterson news. We've been hearing little bits and pieces, a little bit more and more as the hours go by. But this is obviously looking like a domestic abuse case, which under the new domestic abuse policy, kind of sparked by the Ray Rice incident, he's facing a minimum 6-game suspension right now. Obviously, you need to make other plans if you have Adrian Peterson. Matt Asiata, a guy we talked about in the podcast last night, 30 carries for 51 yards and 3 touchdowns in his last time filling in for Peterson. His other previous starting role filling in for Peterson, he had 14 carries for 115 yards. So obviously a fantasy relevant running back when Peterson is not playing. This week they get the Patriots, who've allowed the second most rushing yards since the beginning of last season. So an excellent matchup as well. Jerick McKinnon, kind of the dark horse in this running back race, but he's going to get some touches. And similar to Taliaferro in Baltimore, I think he could have a chance at winning the starting job out. Asiata probably already off your waiver wire, but if you're still looking for a speculative play, I think McKinnon is the way to go. Now, other news and notes around the NFL. Wes Welker is eligible to return this week after the new drug policy has been upruled or voted on by all the NFL owners. Eligible to return, and has passed his concussion tests, but it sounds like he is not going to be playing this week. You probably already made plans for substituting in for Welker because you kind of thought he wasn't going to be playing this week anyway, so continue to make those plans. And obviously this new approved policy, we finally get to hear the news on Josh Gordon. His suspension reduced down to 10 games, making him eligible to return week 11. It's going to be hard for me to kind of hold on to him till week 11. That's a long time burning a roster spot. And you're not going to just go ahead and trust him week 11, that first game back, and sticking him in your starting lineup. So really, you're holding off until week 12 when you might be able to use him. That's a big gamble, burning a roster spot all year for basically just your fantasy playoffs. I mean, I get it. If he's on your waiver wire, go get him. But, I mean, I'm not going nuts over this guy. I'm worried about burning that spot all year for someone who may be just as fantasy relevant, breakout guy like Alshon Jeffrey last year. Finally, much smaller news. Cecil Shorts is traveling with the Jaguars this week. So if you went out and spent big bucks on a guy like Allen Hurns, just be wary that if Shorts plays, Hurns could see significantly less playing time because I think Marquise Lee is going to be the number 2 wide receiver opposite Shorts in this game. Make sure to subscribe below for my daily fantasy updates and follow me on Twitter @MarcusCatkin.